Any man who eats from it will never stop craving your food. They will bring you wealth, power, and success, but there are conditions.
In the hearts of Lagos stood a restaurant like no other, called Test and See Kitchen. It was not the biggest, nor was it the most luxurious, but it had something no other restaurant in the city could boast of. Food that was simply addictive. The owner, Adora, was a woman of mystery. She was in her early 30s, strikingly beautiful. Yet, she never entertained suitors. She had everything: fleet of exotic cars, a mansion, and a big restaurant that attracted the wealthiest men and women in town. Other restaurant owners whispered in frustration. How could Adora's food be so irresistible? Even the most celebrated chef could not understand it. Women across the city complained that their husbands no longer eat at home, preferring Adora's meal over the wife's cooking. Some called it talent, others called it luck, but there were a few who suspected something darker, something unnatural. Adora had not always been rich. She came from a humble background, the daughter of a poor widow who sold akara by the roadside. As a child, she watched her mother struggle, begging debtors to pay her back, counting coins to buy ingredients for the next day's sales. Adora hated poverty. She swore she would never be like her mother, helpless, pitied, and invincible. She wanted power, wealth, and most of all, control. Her journey to success was swift. Too swift. Within 5 years of opening Test and See Kitchen, she had risen from a struggling food vendor to a household name. She hired the best cooks and served her meal with elegance that made her stood out. But her competitors refused to believe that her success was natural. Rumors began to spread. She must be using something. No woman can cook that well. How can men abandon their homes just for her food? But Adora paid no mind to the whispers. She smiled and carried on, serving her plates of steaming, mouth-watering delicacies to the ever-growing crowd of customers. If you enter Test and See Kitchen, you will notice one thing. Most of the customers were men, married men. They come in the morning, during lunch, and even late at night. Their eyes glazed with an obsession they themselves could not explain. Some spent their entire salaries there, eating, drinking, and craving for more, abandoning their wives and children just to eat Adora's food. One of the most loyal customers was Chief Obinna, a wealthy businessman. He had a loving wife called Nkechi and 3 children. But ever since he tasted Adora's food, something changed. He stopped eating at home. He started spending time at Ada's spot more than his own home. His wife Nkechi tried everything. She begged, she cooked his favorite meal. She even followed him to the restaurant to see what was so special about the food, but nothing worked. She was heartbroken and didn't know how to save her marriage because her husband was no longer giving her and the children attention anymore, or even providing for them. All his money always go into Adora's food. Then there was Kunle, a struggling banker. He barely had enough money to feed his family. Yet, every penny he earned went into Adora's food. His wife, Ijoma, cried every night as their children went to bed hungry. It was tearing their family apart. Another victim was Mr. Yusuf, a respected pastor. Was not spared either. He also had a beautiful wife called Bimbo. She noticed he no longer fasted, no longer prayed with her at night. She knew something was wrong, but she couldn't understand what was happening. One by one, families started falling apart, and Adora's wealth only grew bigger. But among the many wives suffering in silence, one refused to be a victim. Amara had been happily married to Chidi for 8 years. Their love was strong. Their home was peaceful until Chidi tested Adora's food. At first, it was just occasional visits. Then it became a daily ritual. Soon, Chidi stopped eating at home altogether. He came home late, distracted and distant. His savings dwindled, and when Amara checked his bank statement, she was shocked to see that a large portion of his salary went to test and see kitchen. Amara knew something was wrong, unlike other women who blamed themselves. She refused to believe that her cooking was the problem. She was determined to find out what was really going on. One night, she followed Chidi to the restaurant and waited outside, watching as he ate with an unsettling eagerness. His eyes shined like those of an addict, his hands trembling slightly as he lifted each spoonful to his mouth. Something was definitely wrong, Amara thought to herself. This is not ordinary. She needs to do something about it. She needs to save her husband and marriage from this mess before it is too late. She started praying. She prayed every single night, begging and asking God to deliver her husband from whatever bondage he was into. Her prayer lasted for a long time. She never gave up. She believed one day God will answer her prayers and deliver her husband from that bondage. She was determined to uncover the truth. So she visited Adora's kitchen to spy and know how things are done there. She kept going there for some days. One night, after praying, she heard a whisper in her ears, telling her to try and get close to the kitchen. That is how she can discover the truth. The next day, Amara visited the restaurant, but she noticed that not everyone could get close to the kitchen, especially if you are not a staff in the restaurant. Not even all staff are allowed to go close to the main kitchen, where food are cooked and kept. She decided to try one more thing, determined to uncover the truth. Amara befriended one of the restaurant's young servers called Nneka. She pretended to be a desperate wife trying to learn how to cook like Adora. She later got accepted as a staff in the kitchen. She comes to work every day, trying her best to see the main kitchen. One day, she asked her new friend Nneka why everything is done the way it is done there. Why there are only specific people that enters the kitchen. Nneka replied, "Auntie, even me, I don't understand though." She whispered, "Madame does everything by herself. She doesn't let anyone near her final cooking pot. She locks herself inside the kitchen alone before she serves the special dish. She is the only one with the key to the main kitchen. When she's done with the final touches, she brings them out for us to serve. But me, I suspect something. But Auntie Amara, you didn't hear this from me. You didn't hear anything from me. Me, I don't want wahala." Nneka left here immediately. Amara stood there confused, her heart pounding. What was Adora hiding? She thought to herself. Later, she tried and convinced Nneka to leave the back door open. The next night, so that she could sneak in, she even bribed her with money too. So Nneka had to leave the door that is leading to the main kitchen open. So Amara entered there and hid, waiting for when Adora would come in and enter the main kitchen. That night, the restaurant was full of customers. Amara was waiting for the time Adora would come. She was actually hiding behind the big pots that had not been used for a long time. Few minutes later, Adora came in and quietly entered the main kitchen. She mistakenly left the door open because she was in a hurry to bring out food to serve. Amara used the opportunity and slipped into the main kitchen. The kitchen smelled divine, but there was something else, something foul, something off. Amara hid behind a large sack of rice, watching as Adora brought out a small black calabash. Adora chanted some words softly, her voice very low. She squatted over the black calabash. Amara clamped her hand over her mouth to keep herself from screaming as she realized what was happening. Adora urinated inside the black calabash and poured the urine inside the full pot of food. The rich, flavorful stew that had hooked hundreds of men was laced with human urine. A spell, a curse, a dark charm designed to bind men to her forever. Amara's stomach stirred with disgust. She felt like throwing up because she had once tasted the food. She knew she had to expose Adora. She recorded everything from the beginning with her phone. The secret is out. Flashback to how it all started. Adora had struggled for years, cooking by the roadside, but no one noticed her food. She was desperate, hungry for success. One night, she met a mysterious old woman at the market. She said to Adora, "My daughter, I see your pain and suffering and hunger for power and wealth. I can make you the greatest cook in this city. Your food will be irresistible, but you must pay the price." "Anything. I can do anything it takes to be rich," Adora said. The old woman handed her a black calabash and said to her, "Each time you cook, add a few drops of your urine inside the food. Make sure you urinate inside this calabash. Then you pour the urine inside the food. Any man who eats it will never stop craving for your food. They will bring you wealth, power, and success. But there is a condition," the old woman warned. "You must never marry. You must never get pregnant. You must not sleep with any man for the rest of your life. And above all, if anyone ever catches or see you doing the ritual, then the spell will be broken and you will lose everything. Once you start this path, there is no turning back." Adora agreed and accepted everything, and for years the spell worked until now. Amara quietly sneaked out immediately and still could not believe what she just witnessed. This is what her husband had been eating. The next day, Amara showed the video to some of the friends that had the same fate as hers. They were all shocked at what they just watched. They all agreed to disgrace and expose her. They called the police too. The women and some young ladies stormed the restaurant. At its busiest hour, they dragged Adora out of the kitchen, overturned the pots and poured away the whole food. They showed everyone the video. They exposed her secret to the entire city. Men gagged, vomiting into their plates. Some passed out. Everyone felt disgusted at what they just saw. They all turned against her in horror and rage. The spell was broken. Adora tried to run, but the police arrived before she could escape. Her empire crumbled overnight. Her competitors rejoiced, and her name became a curse. She was arrested. Her mansion seized. Her restaurant shut down forever. Adora spent the rest of her days rotting in prison, her beauty fading, her wealth gone, and her name whispered only in hushed tones as a warning. The men tried to return to their families to plead for forgiveness, but for many, it was late. The marriages were over, but for some, it was fixable. Amara and her husband reconciled and they lived happily again. Some women thanked Amara for acting so bravely, risking her own life and saving everyone. She was well appreciated, and Amara thanked God for using her to liberate her husband and other families from the bondage they were locked into. They forever was grateful to God and Amara was also grateful to God. And her husband loved and showered her with more love and care. And this was how greed led Adora into destruction. Now she is paying for her sins for the rest of her life. Morals of the story: not all success is natural. Know that some riches come with a price. Every evil has consequences. Be content and work honestly. It will bring peace and lasting success. Guide your home and family, just like Amara's determination and zeal to save her husband. Men should be careful where they eat. It is always better to eat at home, where you know and trust the source of your food. Women should also make efforts to cook well and create a warm and loving environment so their husbands will not seek satisfaction elsewhere. And husbands should also appreciate their wives' efforts and make her feel valued and appreciated. Men and women should always try to protect their homes from unseen danger by staying committed to each other, loving and appreciating each other, and also praying together. We have come to the end of the story, and I hope you all enjoyed it and also learned a lot from it. If you did, leave a comment in the comment section. Like and share this video. It is a way of supporting our channel and showing us love. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. For our newcomers, welcome to our channel, and also feel free to check out other interesting videos in this channel. Don't forget to turn on your notification button so that you'll be notified if a new video is up. Thank you so much guys for watching. Until next time, bye.